My name is Angela Stoddard. I'm an ESC volunteer for the Resolve Network, and joining with us today is Asmir. Are you
Oh,
happy to introduce yourself just for a minute?
yeah. So my name is Asmir Husić. I'm from Brčko, born and raised. Uh, and generally, I would describe myself as an Roma activist. That would be it.
I think that would work, definitely. Can you tell us just a bit about the organizations you work for? You're very busy, you work for more than one.
Well, first of all, I am a project manager coordinator in a youth center Vermont, and I have been working with them for like 6 years so far. I started as a volunteer and then gradually, uh, let's say, upgraded myself to be able to do all sorts of different things. I write projects, I work with the community, I work with the kids from time to time. To say, uh, and generally, my role in this organization is like developing ideas that would benefit the community we are working with. And the community characteristics are quite wide, from youth to elderly to socially vulnerable categories, etc. Then I am also a reporter, how would I say it, journalist, sort of, where I work for Roma portal Udar, which is online portal that mainly reports on issues, positive examples, and generally things that concern Roma communities all over the Bosnia and Herzegovina and also the region. And around, well, approximately a year ago, with a couple of my colleagues, we have started this new NGO that is stationed in Sarajevo. And with that NGO, we are working primarily with on the grassroots segment where we are kind of working towards the amplifying Roma voices all over the Bosnia and Herzegovina. Reason why this is needed is because well, Roma are in Bosnia and Herzegovina are marginalized, and more often than not, their voices cannot be heard. They are discriminated against. And generally, living circumstances for these communities is very, very bad. So yeah, those three would be my main. Alongside that, I'm part of several groups of youth councils all over Bosnia and Herzegovina. Funny thing is, I'm actually not in any youth council in Brčko. However, I'm part of two councils on the national level. One is youth advisory group, where we work closely with mission of OSCE, Organization Security and Cooperation of Europe. Pardon me. And the other one is well, group of young people with different backgrounds, where we are working really hard on changing the constitution as it is. Because, well, the main reason why I joined that group is because constitution itself is kind of allowing this country to have basis on discriminating national minorities such as Roma and all the other national minorities present in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So that would be it.
Just a little bit, you are super busy, but doing amazing work, I'm sure. And particularly for the youth, what are the main issues young people face living in Bosnia and Brčko in general?
Well, one of the main how would I describe it, poisons of our societies, that everything is partisan. If you want to get a job, you need to join a partisan party, and after that maybe you will have some chance to get employment. Definitely a higher chance than young people that aren't politically active. However, it is slightly higher chance. Yeah. So yeah, that is one of the main causes why young people are rapidly leaving Brčko and Bosnia and Herzegovina in general. A bit less nowadays because of the COVID-19 mess and stuff that's happening. But in previous years, like 2018, was like unprecedented. Like too many young people left, and not only young people, but people that are like professionals, that have families, that work in decent companies, that well, I would describe them that generally don't have any reason to leave. However, for the safety, for the better future for their children, they are forced to leave this country, because generally there is very little perspective in Bosnia and Herzegovina, especially for young people, because politics is heavily impacting literally every segment of life in Bosnia.
I'm sure that's really, really tough for young people, and it's really fantastic you're trying to give them the voice. So what do you think are the main solutions? Like, how are your organizations trying to fix these issues, as big as they are?
Advocacy is one. However, there is, well, honestly speaking, there is very little impact on generally contributing to the change. However, that fact alone doesn't mean that we need to give up on pushing forward, on trying to make any change, because if we don't try to do that, no one else will, and generally, like, that wouldn't benefit anyone. So yeah, fight for well, each and every group's rights is very very much needed. It's a rocky road. However, it needs to be done, and for the well, better future, if there is any, it needs to be done. It needs to be pushed forward. It needs to gain attention from media, from duty bearers, to other NGOs, to generally, I see the key in unity. If everyone contributes a bit to creating a positive change, it can be done. However, it needs to be, well, unity. Unity needs to exist in order for that idea to become reality.
Definitely unity, and we have a theme of reconciliation here as well. Bringing people together to be able to create a bigger voice would be fantastic. Do you have any examples of, are there any really inspiring young people or people in the Roma community that are really taking up this call for more advocacy and change?
Sadly, I don't. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. There is a handful of young people that are included in work with non-governmental organizations, etc. However, even more people, well, significantly more young people are joining the political parties, are becoming active in that scope, and that's okay. However, things go wrong when political parties influence their ability to bring decisions, to create their own solutions, etc. So they are basically becoming puppets for that political organization. and generally that is, well, part of the reason why a lot of young people are very pessimistic about the future in Bosnia and Herzegovina. However, I do think that change is coming. I do believe that a lot of people, not only young people, but people middle aged, etc., are slowly but surely developing, well, uncovering this whole motive of national, how would I say it? Well, nationalism. I don't know exact word, but nationalism that guides all political parties in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and those are predominantly like representing one of the three constitutive groups in Bosnia and Herzegovina, be it Bosniaks, Croats, or Serbs. And that rhetoric is slowly starting to fade away as people are clearly seeing that there is no future with that in Bosnia. So yeah, I'm somewhat well. I do have a positive outlook on the future in that segment, but a lot more is needed to actually create change. And one of, well, generally my fears for Bosnia is that eventually, if nothing is changed, it will become a country of old people, as most of the youth will definitely leave the country if nothing is changed.
And that would be a real shame to lose such young people and such, people who can make some positive change. Have you had any success stories in trying to create an environment to bring people back? Are there any schemes to get youth and employment in Bosnia, particularly for Roma people?
Well, as I've said, I would be like very happy to be able to mention any positive examples. However, reality is, well, at least from my perspective, is somewhat pessimistic. It's not very bright, and well, as far as people coming back to Bosnia, we haven't reached that stage yet.
Yeah.
As soon as COVID-19 mess, etc., goes away, and hopefully with vaccinations on their way, it will be done very soon. I do expect a lot of young people to leave the country, and not only young people. Well, the reason why is they can't get employed if they are not part of a political organization. They can't get proper health services if they don't have any ties with duty bearers. Let's face it. They can't, well, basically any other segment of life, any other service that should be available to them isn't actually, especially because, well, politics and corruption is on completely another level over here. As far as young people, schematics with employment, etc., they, well, how would I describe it? Duty bearers, I will call them duty bearers, and those are people that generally have impact on decision making in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Well, Brčko, actually, I will stick with Brčko on this one. Generally, some young people get employed. However, those schematics are, well, it is like temporarily, for 3 months, for maybe 1 year, etc. However, a lot of, much higher percentage of young people, and generally people that do get employed for about, let's say, permanently, are members of political parties present in Brčko. Be it well, yeah, I will stop there as far as that is concerned. On the other hand, there are how would I say it, programs for employment of young Roma, etc. However, another issue there is that constitutive people, constitutive groups, are simply go to local office and say, okay, now I want to be Roma. Can you change that? Can you write that, print that out on some card, kind of document? And they say they are Roma, and the document confirms it, even though they are not. And people like that get jobs instead of Roma, actual Roma that are living in Brčko. So that is one. Well, it's actually what's the most ridiculous thing with that is that this process is actually legal. I can be well, I can require that I'm I can require a document where it says I'm part of the Bosniaks, let's say. However, my skin color, well, let's say my skin color will definitely point towards that I'm not part of the one of the constitutional groups. And even though if I let me Google just this word.
Definitely. It must be really hard that there are programs to support Roma and they're not working as effectively as you want them to, which is really tough.
Yeah, basically confirmation, certification. Yeah, actually it's like certification that where it says I'm Roma, I'm Bosniaks, and clearly there is manipulation with that process, and that process is legal actually to this point. There are, well, actually there are heavy funds invested in programs for employment of Roma. However, it's misused and manipulation is happening there. So yeah, it's not very positive for a young person, no matter the origin, ethnicity, etc. It's not very positive living in Bosnia, especially because there is very little chance that you will actually get the opportunity to create yourself a life, to be independent, to move out your parents' house, etc. So yeah, it's however, I do think I'm a bit pessimistic, overly and negative. However, this is reality, and that's how things work.
I really appreciate you giving the real story, and that's what we're really here to listen to, how young people are being affected. I'm really inspired by you as an advocate as well, which is really fantastic in all the work you're doing to support and advocate for Roma people. Could you just say a little bit about your career, how you got started, and if there was anyone wanting to hear what we're hearing about and saying, I want to do something, I want to create some change, what would you say to advise someone trying to step into your shoes in a way?
Well, I started approximately like 6 or 7 years ago. Well, I started this process working with non-governmental organizations, etc. It wasn't actually easy. I had to start as a volunteer, and you know, I mean, volunteers don't get any benefits, like there is no pay, there is no check, etc. So instead of working, well, not instead of working, I tried to get employment. However, given that I'm Roma, I couldn't simply get any chance to show what I got. So I started volunteering. Prior to that, I had to leave the country. Well, not had to. I made the choice to leave the country to work abroad for about 3 months, and that process didn't go well as either, because I got played over. I was supposed to make money, and once I came back, I was basically at zero. So I made a decision, like, either work or volunteer, make some change. Like, you definitely need to shake up. So I started volunteering, and that process lasted for about 6 months or so. And then people, that organization where I volunteered, recognized certain qualities in me, and from there it was right up. More and more opportunities created for me, and I definitely took them and used my experience in NGO sector simply to develop myself, to develop certain skills, to meet some new people, to open some new doors for myself, and it went, well, rather smooth. Step by step, first I started working with kids. I was helping teachers, etc., in daycare center where I currently work, to work with kids. I did some workshops, etc., and step by step I started seeing that there is definitely a need for Roma leader in Roma communities of Brčko district. Why there was need? The need was created simply because there aren't many educated people from Roma community in Brčko. And the reason why they don't educate, we can talk about it later. But simply there is a fact that there was no one willing to take the leadership position out of fear that they are not educated enough, that they are not ready to take any responsibility, etc. So I slowly but surely built a connection with communities in Brčko district. And there are several communities like that are pretty, how would I say it? There is certain distance amongst those communities, like several kilometers, etc. But yeah, slowly but surely I developed this connection with communities, and after that I realized that I definitely need to learn some things in order to make change. And one of those things in my perspective back then was that I need to learn how to write projects, how to do fundraisings, how to do all these certain things that I can do through NGO that would in one way or another benefit the community I'm coming from. So yeah, that was the next step. And then about 1 year I really worked on improving my skills on project writing and fundraising, etc. And after that I started simply writing some projects for donors all over the Bosnia and Herzegovina and European Union. Some projects got approved, and it did bring change to the community where I'm coming from. Like unit of daycare center where I'm working now is this sort of project that was my creation. How would I say that? I don't know. And basically at the moment we have like 300 kids that are beneficiaries, and throughout years we have included more than 180 in the process of uh, education, well, educational system, uh, and that's like very significant thing, because before this unit daycare center started operating, there were very little Roma kids in schools, elementary schools. So after 3 or 4 years, as long as this center is well operating, we have included approximately 180 kids in process of education, and that's pretty great. Amongst other things, we basically even this project was an idea that came from the community itself, that came from the meetings that we had with the community, talk with them about certain things that we could do, shared our ideas, heard their ideas, and definitely found some middle ground. And what this project was well positive example of closely working with the Roma communities. And well, I'm a bit going off topic now, but that is actually the point in creating a better environment for Roma communities in Brčko, because institutions themselves didn't have this practice of going to Roma community, asking them, what do you need? How can we work something out? How can we help? That idea alone didn't exist. Years after hard work that we have done, that we pointed out, well, mainly through advocacy segment, that Roma communities need to be consulted before any programs are developed. There is slowly a change. There is slowly a change. More and more institutions are finding their courage, basically, to go to the Roma community, sit down with people, talk with them about certain issues, what needs to be done, what needs to be fixed, etc. And it might not be completely, how would I say it, something that we are responsible for, but we definitely contributed to that change of mental state, how would I say it, of institutions in Brčko.
It's really that was so inspiring.
I actually don't remember.
Yeah.
I actually don't remember what was the question again.
No, you did really well, and it's inspiring to see that many children really impacted by the work you do. And we chatted a little bit before about, you know, the kids. And are you seeing, like, with more education, more, you know, participation in elementary schools, you're seeing this change, you know, where Roma are more visible, they're more participating in education, it's making a positive impact?
Exactly, but like all of us really do believe that a change for Roma communities in Bosnia will come in some like 10 or 15 years once these children we are working with now are adults and are able to carry on what we did, but also are, well, they will become an army of educated young people that know that change is needed, and hopefully grounds we are setting up now will contribute to them and their fight in the future.
Super. That's been really, really positive to hear that there is some change, slow as it may be, and there is some contributing towards young people and their lives in Brčko. I just want to say thank you so much for speaking with me today. It's been really amazing to hear your story and to hear more about this community in Brčko. And I look forward to continue to see your work and everything you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
you.